Not all islands hide treasures in golden chests. Some hide them in smiles. Far beyond the roaring cities, beyond deserts and oceans, there lies a forgotten place where happiness isn't a memory. It's a way of life. And living proof of this forgotten joy? A tiny creature, barely bigger than a rabbit, wearing the eternal grin of the wild. Today we won't just meet an animal. We'll meet the ambassador of wonder. Welcome, PetNomaderz. Here, we don't just explore exotic beings. We rediscover the wildness still breathing within ourselves. We chase laughter across forgotten waters. We wander into smiles that refuse to vanish. Because here, in our tribe, we believe wonder is not childish. It's sacred. Today, we travel not just to a distant island, but to a place inside us that remembers how to smile without fear. Today, we meet the Quokka, the happiest creature alive. Let the journey begin. Long before camera flashes lit up secret corners of the earth, before hashtags and selfies, there existed a small island, kissed by soft waves and blessed by timeless winds. An island forgotten by empires, ignored by conquerors, protected by distance and dreams. Its name today is Rottnest Island, but once, to the native Noongar people, it was called Wajamup, the place across the water. And hidden within its emerald forests and sandy shores, a little creature hopped softly under the stars. A creature not shaped by fear, but by joy. The Quokka. The arrival of outsiders. When Dutch explorers first landed on Wajamup in the 1600s, they saw strange creatures hopping among the bushes. Round faces, beady bright eyes, curved mouths locked in permanent grins. Mistaking them for enormous rats, the explorers named the place Ratnest, Rat's Nest. Over time, the name softened to Rottnest, but the Quokka's secret remained. It was not a rat. It was something far rarer, a marsupial, cousin to kangaroos and wallabies, crafted by evolution into a living embodiment of peace, the birthplace of innocence. Unlike much of Australia's harsh and competitive wildlife, Rottnest Island offered sanctuary. No dingoes prowling, no foxes lurking, no great fires scorching the horizon. For tens of thousands of years, the Quokka thrived in this gentle isolation. They built cozy tunnels through dense grasses. They nibbled on native shrubs with the casual luxury of peace. They raised generations under the southern stars, unhurried and untouched. And because they had no reason to fear, they forgot how to be afraid. They carried no armor in their hearts, only curiosity, only trust, the anatomy of a smile. The Quokka's famous grin isn't deliberate. It's the blessed accident of anatomy. Wide, flexible lips, high, rounded cheeks, bright, alert eyes. But what started as a quirk of biology became a symbol far greater. In a world that demands suspicion, the Quokka offers openness. In a world sharpening its teeth, the Quokka bears only smiles. The silent guardians of joy. Through storms, shipwrecks, and shifting tides, the Quokkas remained. Centuries of human conflict passed them by. Wars raged across oceans and deserts. Empires rose and crumbled. Yet on Rottnest Island, tiny creatures kept hopping, kept smiling, kept reminding the earth. Joy, too, is a survival strategy. A glimpse of ancient laughter. When you first step onto Rottnest Island today, you don't just arrive at a destination. You travel back. Back to a time when survival didn't mean suspicion. When thriving didn't require conquest. You hear the soft scurry of paws in the underbrush. You glimpse a flash of golden fur through the bushes. And maybe, if you're lucky, you lock eyes with a creature that has never forgotten how to trust the world. A creature that reminds you, through a simple, unguarded smile, that wonder was always ours to keep. Not all magic comes from legends. Some of it comes from biology. The Quokka's charm isn't just a trick of the light, it's the result of millions of years of evolution, perfectly tuned to create a being that defies our hardened expectations. Let's peel back the layers, gently, and see what makes nature's happiest creature so miraculous. Small body, big wonder. At first glance, a quokka looks almost cartoonish, about the size of a domestic cat. Stocky little body covered in short, rough brown fur. A sturdy, muscular tail used more for balance than for hopping. Bright eyes full of endless curiosity. They move with an adorable bounce, part hop, part amble, as if always slightly late to a wonderful party. When they pause, they often tilt their heads, sniffing the air like inquisitive toddlers exploring a brand new world. Every gesture radiates innocence. But underneath that smile, there's a creature built to survive the subtle challenges of a hidden island. The marsupial secret quokkas, like kangaroos and koalas, are marsupials. Females carry their tiny young, called joeys, in a pouch on their belly. Gestation lasts about a month. Once born, the joey climbs into the pouch and continues developing for another 6 months. It's a miracle of portable parenting. Inside the mother's pouch, the joey finds warmth, milk, and shelter. A tiny private nursery, bouncing safely through sunlit forests. And here's something truly remarkable and bittersweet. If severely threatened, a mother quokka may eject her joey to distract predators. A desperate act of sacrifice to survive another day. A heartbreaking testament to the fierce instincts woven into even the gentlest souls. Feeding the smile. Quokkas are herbivores, nibbling on native grasses, leaves, bark, succulent plants. Their diet is high in moisture, allowing them to survive long periods without direct water sources. In the heat of Australia's sun, when water becomes a scarce treasure, the quokka smiles anyway, sustained by leaves that drip with hidden rivers. However, human food, chips, bread, sugary snacks, can be fatal for them. Their digestive systems are fragile ecosystems, designed for ancient diets, not processed treats. Feeding quokkas human junk is not kindness. It's a quiet tragedy. Masters of the twilight quokkas are crepuscular, most active at dawn and dusk. When shadows stretch and golden light kisses the earth, they emerge from their dens and grassy hideouts. They prefer the coolness of twilight, the in-between hours where magic feels thick in the air. At these times, they forage, socialize, hop across trails, and sometimes photobomb tourists with accidental selfies. We'll get to that part soon. Communication, the language of softness. Quokkas are social but gentle. They chirp softly to each other. They nuzzle and groom close family members. They establish small home ranges but tolerate neighboring groups. There are no bloody territorial fights, no dominance brawls. If disputes arise, they typically end with a hop away rather than a clash. Their world is built on coexistence, not conquest. Perhaps that's why their smiles feel so real. They aren't masks. They are reflections. Expectancy of a smiling life. Despite their struggles, quokkas are survivors. In the wild, a quokka typically lives around 10 years. In captivity, with protected environments, they can live up to 12 to 15 years. A decade or more of hopping, smiling, raising young ones, and teaching the world that joy, true, unfiltered joy, is a survival skill. The secret to their smile. Unlike many creatures whose facial expressions are utilitarian, baring teeth for aggression, widening eyes in fear, the quokka's smile isn't tied to defense. It's simply an anatomical gift. Their jaw structure naturally curves upward. Their cheeks create a permanent beam of joy. They don't smile for cameras. They don't smile for attention. They simply are. Happy in being, alive in the moment, soft in a world sharpening itself to edges. And so, PetNomaderz, as we peer closer into the soul of this tiny marvel, we learn a truth. Sometimes nature creates sharp teeth and armored scales. Sometimes it creates wings and claws. And sometimes it crafts a smile and trusts it will be enough. Paradise is never as safe as it seems. While Rottnest Island smiles under blue skies and golden sunsets, a quiet battle for survival unfolds behind the beauty. Because even the happiest creatures are not free from danger. Even joy must fight for its place in the world. The ancient threats. Before humans ever set foot on Wajimub, quokkas faced the challenges nature designed. Seasonal droughts, bushfires sparked by lightning, Occasional scarcity of food during dry spells, but for the most part, isolation kept them safe. The island was a cradle, a sanctuary, a small, perfect world without predators. The Quokka's soft trust evolved naturally because fear was unnecessary. No foxes lurked in the shadows. No cats pounced from the tall grass. The island whispered safety, and the Quokkas believed it. The arrival of shadows. But then came us. Humans brought more than stories and maps. They brought new creatures. Foxes, feral cats, dogs, rats. Predators that never existed on Rottnest before. They introduced invasive plants that strangled native food sources. They altered water flows. They cut trails, built roads, and chased away the rhythm of ancient life. And slowly, the paradise cracked. The cost of innocence. Quokkas are trusting. Too trusting. Their instincts tell them to approach, to investigate, not to run. This made them easy prey for introduced predators. Across mainland Western Australia, where quokkas once thrived in woodlands and swamps, populations collapsed after European settlement. Today, mainland quokka colonies are tiny, fragmented, and constantly under threat. Rottnest Island remains their stronghold. But even there, dangers creep. The hidden dangers of tourism. Tourism saved the quokka from obscurity, but it also brought unintended consequences. Every year, hundreds of thousands of visitors flock to Rottnest Island, eager to snap the perfect quokka selfie. And while most visitors are respectful, some cross dangerous lines, feeding quokkas human food, chasing or touching the animals, littering habitats with plastic waste. Processed food can be lethal for a quokka's delicate digestive system. Stress from overexposure can shorten their lifespan. A smile captured for Instagram can cost a lifetime. Climate change, the slow dagger. As the planet warms, Rottnest Island faces rising temperatures and shifting weather patterns. Longer droughts mean less fresh vegetation. Rising seas could eventually threaten low-lying nesting areas. The very balance that sustained quokkas for millennia is tilting, and smiling gets harder. The guardians of the smile. Thankfully, many stand guard now. Rottnest Island Authority enforces strict protections. Feeding or harassing quokkas carries heavy fines. Conservation groups monitor populations and educate visitors. Scientists study ways to preserve genetic diversity and adapt habitats. Small victories stack like pebbles building a dam against extinction. And every respectful selfie, every dollar donated to conservation, every child who falls in love with a quokka's grin becomes part of that dam. Hope builds slowly, quietly, softly, just like smiles. Why the fight matters. Saving the quokka isn't just saving a cute animal. It's saving a piece of earth that still trusts, a piece of life that still believes, a piece of ourselves that hasn't hardened. Because if the world loses the quokka, it doesn't just lose a species, it loses a symbol. A reminder that joy is not naive, it's necessary. And so, PetNomaderz, as we hop forward into deeper waters, let this truth anchor your heart. Sometimes the gentlest things must be defended fiercest, because they are the first to fall and the last to return. Not every legend is built by swords and crowns. Some are built by smiles. Some are built by the simple, astonishing act of being seen. The quokka's journey from forgotten island dweller to global sensation is a story of light and a lesson in the double-edged sword of fame. The accidental celebrity. No marketing campaign crafted their rise. No agent brokered their contracts. It began, as all genuine magic does, by accident. In the early 2010s, travelers to Rottnest Island started noticing something remarkable. Tiny creatures, soft, smiling, fearless, hopping casually across paths and beaches, approaching cameras with bright, inquisitive eyes. Tourists began snapping photos. Tourists began posting. And the world fell head over heels. The birth of the quokka selfie. Soon, a new phenomenon erupted. The quokka selfie. Tourists, grinning awkwardly, posing cheek to cheek with wild quokkas, capturing the illusion of shared laughter. Some photos went viral overnight. Chris Hemsworth posted a quokka selfie. Margot Robbie followed. Backpackers, honeymooners, celebrities. Everyone wanted a snapshot with nature's happiest ambassador. Instagram flooded with images. Quokka selfie trended globally. And suddenly, the quokka became one of Earth's most beloved animals. The power, base, and danger of going viral fame saved them. Increased awareness boosted conservation funding. Strict tourism regulations were enforced. Rottnest Island transformed into a sanctuary not just of habitat, but of dreams. But fame also came with shadows. Tourists luring quokkas with food for better photos. Crowds causing stress to sensitive animals. Risk of disease transmission between humans and wildlife. Fame demands careful stewardship, because love without respect can turn fatal. Guardians of the smile. To protect the quokkas while embracing their fame, the island community rallied. Educational signs across trails. Heavy fines for inappropriate behavior. Strict rules against feeding or handling animals. Volunteer programs to monitor tourist interactions. Rottnest's authorities understood. The quokka's true magic wasn't in selfies. It was in reminding humans what unguarded trust looked like. And that trust had to be honored. The quokka beyond the island. Today, the quokka's reach goes far beyond Rottnest's shores. Plush toys replicate their smiling faces. Cartoons and children's books celebrate their adventures. Conservation campaigns use their image to teach respect for all wildlife. Scientific studies on quokka behavior inspire deeper conversations about empathy in nature. In a world often spinning too fast, the quokka stands as a gentle, grinning reminder. Slow down, look closer, smile. The hidden wisdom of the quokka phenomenon. Why did the quokka capture our hearts so completely? Because they reflect something we forgot. A life without constant suspicion. A face that trusts before it judges. A being that exists simply, joyfully, without cynicism. When we pose next to a quokka, we don't just seek a cute photo. We seek to remember. We seek to touch something pure again. We seek ourselves. The unarmored parts, the laughing parts, the wide-eyed parts still willing to believe the world is a kind place. And so, PetNomaderz, as the world snaps, posts, and shares, let us remember, the quokka's gift isn't their grin. It's the reminder that smiling is an act of hope, and hope is contagious. Not all teachers stand on podiums. Some bounce quietly under the shade of eucalyptus trees, smiling without speaking, offering wisdom in the tilt of their heads and the sparkle of their eyes. The quokka doesn't shout its lessons, it lives them. And if we watch closely, we may just remember the things the modern world begged us to forget. 1. Trust is strength, not weakness. The quokka does not approach with suspicion. It hops closer. It investigates. It believes the world might offer kindness instead of cruelty. In a time when distrust is armor, the quokka teaches another path. Trust is not naivete. Openness is not foolishness. Vulnerability is its own kind of courage. To approach the world smiling, even when it has teeth, is a revolution. 2. Joy is a survival strategy. The quokka doesn't harden itself against harshness. It smiles through it. And while a smile may not build walls or sharpen claws, it builds bridges. It invites protection. It inspires wonder. It calls humanity to its better angels. In a survival of the fittest world, the quokka thrives by making others want to protect it, not destroy it. Joy, it turns out, is armor too. The softest, most powerful kind. 3. Presence is power. The quokka isn't racing anywhere. It isn't chasing medals, promotions, or validation. It is simply here, fully, wholly. It wakes with the dawn, savors the cool grass, bathes in golden light, and carries on, with no agenda but living well. Presence is its protest, its celebration, and perhaps its secret. 4. Resilience wears a smile. Despite predators, fires, droughts, invasive species, and climate shifts, the quokka persists. Not bitterly, not fearfully, but smiling. The world has tried, and still tries, to rob it of its innocence. But the quokka doesn't let the world decide how it carries itself. It smiles anyway. Because resilience isn't about hardening. It's about choosing softness again and again, even when it hurts. 5. Happiness is contagious. When you see a quokka, you cannot help but smile back. It's involuntary, primitive, sacred. The way laughter is contagious. The way kindness echoes louder than cruelty. The quokka reminds us, happiness is not a resource to be hoarded. It's a light meant to be shared. Every smile ripples outward. Every soft glance rebuilds a broken corner of the world. Every act of joyful presence challenges the darkness we thought inevitable. Final reflections. When you walked onto this island, PetNomaderz, you sought an exotic creature. But maybe, without realizing it, you found a forgotten part of yourself. The part that once trusted easily. The part that smiled without asking permission. The part that knew presence was enough. And maybe the true gift the quokka offers us isn't its grin. It's the memory that we too were once creatures of wonder. We too can be again. So float lighter today. Smile at the small miracles. Trust the softness still pulsing in the world. Because sometimes, the greatest act of rebellion is joy.
Pet Nomads, where the wild whispers and the unseen comes to life.